Hey, fifth grade, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another virtual lesson of drama class for those of you with Ms. Connell and or Ms. Wachillis. We are going today to talk about scene analysis once again. And let's just quickly review what this is all about. So, like I said, we are going to be taking certain monologues and certain scenes, and we are going to be breaking them down and figuring out what makes every single part of it come together. And just to review, I will go ahead and write the word monologue and the word scene on the board, and we will go ahead and figure out what each one is. We will review what each of them are, and then we will go ahead and break down one, possibly more monologues that I have, and we will go from there. So, I don't know if any of you had a chance to read the monologue that I put on Schoology, but we will break that one down to start, the monologue for practice. And I have a couple of others we can do as well. But for Thursday, because don't forget, Wednesday, we have the Passion Project, so you guys don't have me. On Thursday, you guys will go ahead and take a look at a scene that I will post on Schoology, and we will go ahead and break that down even further on both Thursday and Friday. Sound good? Okay, so here is what we are going to do. Let's review our terms first. So we have monologue, and we have scene. Now, let's review what those are once again. So a monologue is a paragraph or a large series of words that is delivered in a show or a movie to the audience, or in the case of a movie, to a camera, that is usually meant to tell a story to a large group, right? So we also have a scene, and a scene is one part of a movie or a play that takes place with multiple people in one specific location, and where the characters start and where they end, both emotionally and physically, should be different by the end of the scene from where they were, right? So the way they feel, the way they want to do things, whatever motivates them, starts out one way at the beginning of a scene and finishes another way at the end, right? So we will focus on scenes on Thursday and Friday, but for now, let's go ahead and get some monologues going. So let's see. We have the monologue that I put up on Schoology. So I'm going to pull that up, right? And remember, we are looking for 3 specific things. I will write them down. So the first thing we are looking for is character journey. So we focus on one character if it's a monologue, or multiple characters if it's a scene, right? And what we want to do is we want to think about where the characters start at the beginning and where the characters end. How do they feel emotionally? What do they want to do at the start? And at the end, by the time they've reached the end of the scene, do they still feel the same way? Do they still want the same thing? It might be the same, it might change, it usually changes. So if it does indeed change, right, it is our job to figure out exactly what they want, all right? So number 2 is plot progression. right? And like I said, we are not, with the scenes and the monologues that I pick, I want to do this a very specific way. I am not going to tell you what the whole story is about when we do monologues and scenes. The reason that I have plot progression up there is because oftentimes when you get a small bit of lines when you're rehearsing for a play or you're auditioning for a play, which is when you go and try to get a part, right? You only have so much to work with. And whether you know the show or not, it is up to you to figure out in one specific scene or monologue where a character came from and where they are going. So as opposed to within the scene, where they're coming from and where they're going, right? Their journey inside one scene. Plot progression asks us to think outside the box and explore the character even further. So basically what we want to think about where they came from, right? And where they are going. Because the more we think about their background story, where they've been, even though we don't know anything about them, the easier it will be for us to read a monologue, to perform a monologue, or a scene between a few characters. So, and then when we think about where they're going, that helps us finish off the scene or the monologue a certain way. Plot progression. Okay. Last one, once again. All right. We also have exposition. Okay? Exposition. So, basically, what we do here is we have, let me see. Exposition is when you have certain words or certain dialogue that tells a little bit about the background of the person. You guys may remember my example yesterday, right? I talked about Talk the dog from my show from last year, The Phantom Tollbooth. And Talk basically comes in barking and screaming because Talk is a dog, right? Ruff, 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 right? Very rough. And Talk has a description when he enters for the first time. In a play, like I said yesterday, in parentheses, they will tell you how a character moves, where they go, and that is called a stage direction. When a character enters a show for the very first time, very first entrance in a whole play, they give you a little description about who they are, right? So there is a little bit of exposition in every story. All right. So I am going to go ahead and I am going to read out loud the monologue that I put up on Schoology. Now I want you guys to listen to how I read it. Pay attention for if I split it up. Oh, right, I forgot. Don't forget. When we split up monologues or scenes to figure out where the character changes their emotions, their feelings, or what they want, their motivations, we break that up into what is called beats. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and make beats number 4. Number 4 is beats. And I will go ahead and add that to my list on Schoology, and we should be good to go from there. All right? Okay, so my friends, like I said, I'm going to read this monologue. I'm going to pick a certain specific way to do it, and we're going to talk about how to break it down into certain beats and figure out who the character is, how they feel at the beginning and the end, what do they want, right? Where do they come from? Where are they going? And then any dialogue that helps us figure out who they are. Okay. So let me pull up the monologue here. All right, here we go. Hello, my name is Abby, and I'm a part of the Clapper family. Every day of my life is basically the same. Wake up, eat breakfast, watch family leave, lie in the sunshine and chase squirrels. Family comes home, gets some tummy rubs and some treats, eat dinner, and go to bed. But one day, I heard them talking about driving to something called the beach. I didn't know what that was, but then they said the 3 words that made my ears perk up. Let's bring Abby. I was so excited. I wasn't going to be alone all day again. I got in the car and jumped into Alyssa's lap, ready to go on an adventure. As we were driving there was a powerful fan outside the car window with a lot of smells. Finally, we get to the thing called the beach. Why haven't they taken me to this before? The dirt here is soft and warm and so easy to dig in. There are birds everywhere to chase and chase and chase and chase and chase and chase and chase. Alyssa is in a big pool of water that looks like it has no end. She's calling me, and suddenly my paws are wet. But it feels so good. Oh no, a big moving wall of water is coming. What will happen if it gets me? I tried to run away, but it's too late. Oh, and it's all over for me. I'm soaking wet. I run back to the dry sand where my family is and shake and shake and shake and shake and shake and shake and shake. Why are they yelling? They must think this is as fun as I do. The day at the beach was the best day ever. On the way home, I heard them talking about another adventure called the veterinarian. I can't wait to see what that is like. All right. So, this is a pretty fun one. This is a pretty fun monologue, right? So let's go ahead and break down some of the stuff that we have, right? So we have Abby. Now, it probably seems pretty obvious by this point. You know, you probably started reading it. You saw the tummy rub section, which for me, when I found this, was a dead giveaway. Abby is clearly a dog. So we know that. Right? So Abby starts out, let's talk about Abby's journey, right? So let's write it over here. I'll move the camera so we can see it at the end. So Abby's journey, let's go ahead and just tilt ourselves that way, right? Abby's journey is pretty simple, but she changes, okay? She changes emotions. So she starts out, she's pretty happy, right? Not super happy, but her life is good. So emotionally, she's happy. Yeah, okay. Didn't do that right. Sorry, guys. Happy. And she enjoys her life. She's not really that motivated. She doesn't want a whole lot, right? So I think the first beat, the first place that we split up that monologue comes, when she says, eat dinner and go to bed. She's introducing herself to us. So there, we can skip to step 3. There we have exposition. The first beat, right, so beats number 1 goes to exposition. First beat tells us about herself. All right? So that's good. We already have that working for us. So we have beat number 1 is basically just exposition. We now know who Abby is. She told us about herself. She's a dog, a happy dog, right? Life is good. She eats and goes to bed, but her life's not really exciting. She's happy, but she's not excited. However, in the second beat, which comes right after that, she says, but one day, and she's about to go ahead and describe what it's like to go to the beach. So she goes from happy. So let me write this down. Exposition and beats. Draw an arrow here. Exposition and beats are very much connected here, so we have that to work with. And now let me see what we have. Happy. She goes from happy to curious, right? So she is curious about the beach. And then she is motivated to go because it's a place they've never been, right? So the curious is both an emotion and it is motivation. All right, so we have all of those. I know it's kind of small, guys. I apologize. The camera can't get a whole lot closer to the board in this room. But we have emotion and we have motivation, right? And let's see. So now we need to think about what she's like when she gets there. So I think our second beat